Hello, this is Cryptolyze. I hope you are well. This Monday, 11 December 2023. We are together today to talk about CSPR, Casper's crypto. As usual, we will dissect this video into two parts. A fundamental part, we will come back to what Casper is, to the role of the CSPR in Casper, and a technical part where we will go to the graphs to project short, medium, long term on purchase prices, sales, and it starts right away. If you want to train and really enjoy bull running, it's simple. There is perfect, complete, free training available. It's through an educational journey that teaches you everything about blockchain, crypto, investment, technical analysis, and trading. All this for free in comments and descriptions. You have exercises, multiple choice questions, modules, videos, guides, everything to support you in your progress. Casper is a level 1 blockchain that was born in the Ethereum killer's wave, and which was really born within Ethereum, given that basically what supports Casper is its protocol, it's its consensus, and it's the CBC specification which was originally designed for the transition to proof of stake of Ethereum, and in view of the various delays, the team behind the CBC specification have come together in a blockchain that they named Casper. Hence the birth of Casper, and hence this birth also an image of Ethereum killer, which does not necessarily succeed. Seduce, you will understand why. Besides, they changed their image, so that was the old image. Here is the new one with behind it really a construction around the sea. The icon now really of Casper has become the sea. And they define themselves as being the future-proof blockchain. Therefore, the blockchain which is future-proof, and which is there to be able to offer blockchain technology to the different uses that could be found in the real world. In terms of tokenomics, we find ourselves on a Casper which is almost 100 diluted, even if we have a token which is inflationary. We see that the release of CSPR has stopped, and we are through a diluted market cap of $500 million, which is relatively substantial for Casper. Next to Casper, it is simple, aggregable, and decentralized. So what is very important is especially this part, okay? This part defines that smart contracts can be scalable. And this is where it is relatively important because Casper and CSPR aim to be truly business-oriented and offer a solution to blockchain companies in which we do not necessarily have an obligation to have a smart contract which is defined as is. This means that at the moment, if you have to develop on Ethereum, for example, when you are going to push a smart contract directly on the blockchain, already it will cost you a small amount of Ethereum, a small amount being behind very relative, so you will pay in Ether to store your smart contract, therefore your piece of code. But if you ever realize that you have made an error, or if you ever want to make it evolve, you must release a new version of this smart contract, but the old smart contract will remain systematically present, and this is the complexity that we can have in terms of development on blockchains. Besides, they gave us here a small summary of their paper in which they clearly define this notion of smart contract functionality, which is really important for, here, their real focus on marketing to companies, which is very important. Besides, they relaunched during the convention that there was a grant, so they are once again looking to attract new projects, and that is completely normal. For what? They have had 40 applications, 40 people who offered themselves in August to September to be able to take advantage of the grants. And they always continue to look for new projects because there is a real complexity on Casper. It is the lack of applications and developers and projects that are built on the application. Clearly, we are currently preparing for a bull run, and it is important to have projects that attract people and make people want to go and test CSPR and Casper. If we don't manage to have a project of this style, well, at that point we will have a complexity to have a interest on the CSPR, which is the token which serves 1 for governance and 2 for fee agreement. So it is very important which is the volume and the transaction on it, which is not necessarily the case currently, and it will be really for me the crucial element for 2024-2025 is that they will be able to attract applications. Will there be large projects that will be built on CSPR other than business projects in which the valuation of the CSPR does not appear and DAWA will not appear? These are two things that are separate. That's why there must be speculation behind it that happens. And for there to be speculation, it is imperative that we have projects with high visibility, which are on it, and do not have a use within a company and in which we have no visibility of the transactions. You have in the description and comments the possibility of downloading my strategy guide on investment and trading in cryptocurrency, in which there are 30 pages to know everything about how to proceed, how to benefit from this bull run. And in addition, in description and comment, you also have the possibility of having access to our newsletter, which is available and which will be available every month. The links are in comments and descriptions. So, that being said, we are going to analyze the courses on the technical part. We had an ATH, which was just colossal, and then we also had a dilution, which was just enormous, in which we had a first bearish phase, second bearish phase with here a selling climax, which was therefore marked by the cessation of the bearish trend. We had a small upturn in particular at the end of 2021, and then we had a second downward acceleration with Terra Luna, Celsius, which did very, very badly, and we marked the low point here with Celsius. It is one of the rare blockchains to have hit the low point with Celsius and not to have retested, notably with FTX. FTX is located here. We had already had a nice acceleration, and why are we finding ourselves like this? Well, quite simply because we had a stop in sales pressure, because we had a stop in emissions, people who were in pre-EID seed and who were in the pre-launch part, in fact, of CSPR. So here we have a token which stops being hyper-diluted as we experienced during this entire bearish phase, and therefore we find ourselves in a phase of accumulation of Wyckoff, which is rather clean, in which here we have the big phase, and we have a small phase here with a SC and STB, a retest. So with a second accumulation, reacceleration, bullish breakout, retest on the zone that we had defined, and then we have a pullback and a reacceleration. So we are in something rather classic in terms of accumulation of Wyckoff, and which is rather positive for CSPR in the long term. However, what is important to see is that in the upward acceleration that we experienced in November and that we experienced in October, we see that we still had big profits taken. We had the first acceleration of BTC, second acceleration, and we see that overall we have evolved very little. Compared to what we can know about other altcoins, we see that we have a real underperformance of these CSPR. We only took 21 out of the total movement, on a peak, yes, in which we went to retest the 0.45, but which is relatively weak overall because we did not manage to consolidate on it. It was completely sold. We must understand that we went to chase the liquidity of this equal high which is here. We are in the process of retesting. It would not be inconceivable to go and retest either the 0.35, 0.37, or to fetch a lot lower and look for the 0.3, why not a little lower too? For what? Because we did not consolidate above this level. That means that we did not close a weekly candle above, and we are not working on this level here. So there, for me, we don't have a real breakup. To be able to start again there, we will have to close above this level, and then take a break of structure and validate the following break of structure. Okay, we have the lows which are higher and higher, we have the highs which are higher and higher, but for that we must once again validate this break here because we have a market who pushed and the CSPR did not take advantage of it to have a big acceleration, and it's a real shame. Next to the CSPR versus BTC, what is interesting to see is that we are really holding this level here, and we can clearly see that we are holding it well. It is a very big support, so that means that CSPR manages to maintain its level in relation to BTC. What we will have to see is whether we will retest, whether we will break this level, if we really manage to hold it and we manage to structure something that will look like this. Okay, there we will in fact have a potential signal to say that we will have an outperformance of CSPR compared to BTC, and we will be able to seek relatively high targets. What does this mean in terms of the Casper course? This means that we will have a BTC that either lateralizes or pushes, and behind a CSPR which will really have performance. It's one of the assets for me that underperformed in this rally phase that we experienced, so it would be logical to see a CSPR start to rise again and precisely perform as other altcoins have done. So that's two things. First thing is that in fact we could have an outperformance because we are in something that is bullish, okay? I remind you that it's really still very bullish. We haven't made any lower. We've had something that's really rather bullish since June. I remind you that we haven't gone any lower. What higher level can we expect in the event of acceleration? I think that the first levels to be sought here will certainly be 0.11, then 0.13, 0.24, And then we could project ourselves on a CSPR with a diluted market cap, which could be around 10, 15, 20 billion, if ever we have an ecosystem which takes, and if behind it we really have a phase of speculation around the CSPR. Something that has not yet been achieved. Far from it. Take into consideration that we are in a good accumulation phase. It is interesting to be able to look for interesting targets, at least in the medium term. After that, it will depend on you to what extent you support the project. If you want to keep and hold the project in the long term, that will really be a decision that will be your own on the analysis and the sensitivity that you have in Casper. In any case, I hope you liked this video. If so, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. It supports all the work I do every day, and above all, it makes me very happy. And we'll meet again tomorrow at 7 to continue. To come back to BTC. To come back to the news and understand exactly what is happening in the crypto ecosystem.